slow down. It's literally you versus you. And I think that would be one of the biggest takeaways that I would have in my 20s. It's like, focus on yourself, your journey, your path. Your path is not going to look like everyone else's. Your timelines are going to look different from other people. And if you can just focus on your journey and continuing to progress along the way, I feel like that is one of the greatest things. Hey everyone, we are back with another video. Thank you for watching Brianna Thizard's journey. Happy March! Yes, we are 3 months in this thing. I am so happy that I have been consistent with the YouTube. Thank you to those who have subscribed. And if you are new to the channel, I would love for you to subscribe and share with anyone who will be interested in this type of content. So today we are going to get right into it. We are going to be talking about what I learned in my 20s. So I am currently in my late 20s. I'm reaching to 30. And so I wanted to just talk about the things that I've learned throughout my 20s and pretty much what I would give my old self, like what advice I would give my old self. So one would be get rid of those timelines. Forget about them. Me, I write it down. I'm gonna envision it. I'm gonna accomplish it. I'm always like a planner. And so one thing that I realized in my 20s is that you can have all this stuff planned out, but stuff just does not happen all the time the way that you want it or when you want it to happen. So for me, I was like, when I'm turning 25, I'm gonna be married. I'm gonna probably be on my first or second child. We're gonna be in this big home. I'm gonna be climbing the tech corporate ladder. Like I just knew that's where I was gonna be. And so I'm in my late 20s, not married, no children, and not looking to be in the tech field at all. So it's so crazy how you can envision your life in your early 20s or even before you hit 20. And once you actually go through these 20s, it's just so different. So if I had to go back to Aubrey, I would say, girl, get rid of the timelines. However, I do believe that it is amazing to have vision for your life. And, what are some of the things that you want to accomplish? What are some of the things that you want to do personally, academically, spiritually, like all these different things, but just don't marry the timeline. And so that's definitely one advice that I would give myself. Another piece of advice that I would give myself in my younger 20s is everything works out how it's supposed to. So yes, you may have those timelines, and it doesn't mean that those things aren't going to happen, but that just means that they may not happen in the time that you wanted it to. And for some people it does. You may say by 25, I want a family, or by 25, I want to have a 6-figure career or business, and then you may get it. But sometimes things don't work like that. So for me, I would say everything works out. If you would have told me that I would have become a realtor, I would start investing in real estate, that I would be debt-free in terms of, not debt-free, paying off my student loans. If you would have told me I would have my student loans paid off and that I would have a nonprofit, like I did not know that I would have those things by now. And so although things have not gone as planned, it's almost better than what I envisioned. There's things that I never knew I would have this purpose of, fighting against human trafficking and being someone that wants to advocate for children in foster care. So it's like, wow, even though those are not the things that I prayed for, I didn't know I needed. I didn't know that I was going to have this newfound purpose in my 20s. And so I would say, get rid of that timeline for me. And again, this is for me and my younger self in my, early 20s or even before I hit 20. Get rid of the timelines. Everything happens the way that it's supposed to happen. And another thing I would say is just be open. I was the type of person who wrote everything down. Like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. For me, in my last video, I was talking about moving to Houston and being bi-coastal, going between Houston and Maryland. And I never thought I would leave my county. What? Go to Houston, Texas for what? So just being open to the idea of, no, you can actually explore a new city. And if not, this is probably the best time to do it. You have no husband, you have no children right now. You can do this. And so just being open in the sense of knowing, like, you can go to different places. You can explore different cities, like literally learning that your life is what you make it. What do you want to do with your life? Like, you can be someone who decides, I'm going to use my 20s to travel and just explore the world. Maybe you have a remote position and you just want to travel the world, and that just brings you so much life. Or maybe like me, learning that I'm passionate about human trafficking and foster care. I'm like, man, I really want to live out my life to focus on serving this particular group of people. And so it just really is like, you can live your life by design. Like, what do you want your life to be? And of course, things don't always work out exactly how they're supposed to, but there's so much more to life. And this is another one. There's so much more to life than your romantic relationship. Oh my goodness, there's so much. Your career is one thing. Your interests are another thing. Like, what do you want to do outside of having kids, outside of having a family? Like, what do you want for your life? What does that look like? Maybe you're like, man, I really want to be active. Like for me, I started running more and I like really love running. It's like, oh, I didn't even think this would be something that I would be interested in, but I'm always going to the parks and running and, meeting new people. And it's just something that I've been interested in. So I just think really being in these 20s, it's just like, calm down. I feel like a lot of times I'm always in a rush, or it's like, okay, I want to accomplish this, and then I may accomplish it, and then I move on to the next thing. It's like, slow down. It's literally you versus you. And I think that would be one of the biggest takeaways that I would have in my 20s. It's like, focus on yourself, your journey, your path. Your path is not going to look like everyone else's. Your timelines are going to look different from other people. And if you can just focus on your journey and continuing to progress along the way, I feel like that is one of the greatest things. Like, okay, maybe in terms of finances, all right, last year, this is where I was financially. I want to get better this year. So for me in particular, I no longer want to focus on being a realtor anymore. And so I'm like, okay, if I'm getting rid of that, what can I replace that with financially? What can I do to be in a better position? So I actually got my certification, my Scrum Master certification, because I'm looking to, increase my salary. I'm looking to get in the field of project management. So it's like, okay, I'm looking at where I was last year. Where do I want to be this year? And how can I be better? How can I make sure that I'm stable financially? How can I make sure that I am paying off debt? Of course, thankfully paid off the student loans, but there's more debt than just student loans, and just finding ways to be better. And I think also another thing is just having fun as well. I am a serious person. I'm a fun person too, but I am serious about life. Like in college, I was never that person that was like a party, like going out partying every weekend. Like I was very much in my books. I did not play any types of game. I knew I was going to school for computer science. I knew I was getting out with that degree. I knew it was only going to take me 4 years, and I was focused. The people that I hung out with were focused. They were fun too, but we didn't play no games. And plus, I was in computer science. It was a hard major for me, so I really didn't have any time to be foolish. But it's also important to have a balance. Like, yes, be purposeful, do all the things, even when it comes to human trafficking, fighting against human trafficking and being in the child welfare space. Like, yes, you want to have such a purposeful life and do great things in the community and grow financially and, be smart, but have fun. Like, it's okay to go and travel. And I know my beginning of my 20s, I really didn't travel much. I was so focused, and I'll talk about it in another video. I was so focused on paying off that debt. I was not going nowhere. I was not eating out. I was not traveling. I was like, nope, I have this goal. I'm focused on this. I'm paying off these student loan debt. I'm not having this until I'm 40. And I was not playing games. Thankfully, I paid it off. But it's like, okay, that's great. And there's going to be times where you're going to have to sacrifice and you're going to have to lay low. But also make sure you're having fun too. Everyone that's around you, they may not be around forever. You are not going to be around forever. So making sure that you take the time out to spend time with family, spend time with friends, go on a trip. Maybe you do have to sacrifice. Like, yes, I may be paying off debt, but like, let me put some money aside so I can take a vacation for myself. Maybe I do need to go and get a massage. Like, take time for yourself. And looking back at my 20s, I would say it's great to be focused and continue to stay focused, because that's when you get to your later 20s, you're going to look back and thank yourself. But make sure that you're taking time for yourself, making sure that you are focusing on your journey and not what other people are doing, because your journey is so unique. If I followed exactly what I wanted to do, and if I followed everyone else's journey, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so I think it's just really important to just look at you and look at yourself and where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And just see what you can do in order to improve yourself. So that's what I would say if I had to look back at younger Bree and just know that, girl, it only gets better. It only gets better. It only gets better. But the reason why it's getting better is because I'm continuing to evolve. I'm continuing to do the work mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And of course, I'm not perfect, but because I'm willing to do the work, because I'm continuing to want to evolve and be better, life is getting better. And of course, there's always going to be challenges, but it definitely gets better. Another thing I would definitely say is just truly having love for yourself. Like, that self-love is everything. I feel like if I had more self-love in my earlier 20s, I would have probably avoided some relationships that I was in, because I would have been like, I don't deserve that. I'm not going through that. So I would definitely say, take your time when it comes to relationships. Definitely take your time when it comes to relationships. Truly love yourself. And not to say that there won't be challenges in your relationship, but there's certain things that you will not tolerate if you truly do love yourself. And so I would say, just really know that, you are the prize. Another man is the prize as well, but just making sure that you know your worth. And that would be the biggest, that would probably be my number one out of all these, is just truly loving yourself. And then the last tip I will leave with is really just having faith. Like, my faith has carried me through my 20s. It's so crazy that, there's this being that you've never seen before, that I pray to, that I confide in, and I've never seen this being before. And I'm talking about God. It's so crazy, but you have this crazy faith. You have faith that things are going to get better. You have faith that even though the things that you're praying for that didn't happen yet, that they are going to come. You have faith that everything is going to be okay. And I believe that that really brought me through my 20s, is just truly saying, you know what, everything is going to be okay. And I think this is also a time where I think a lot of people in their 20s feel like, oh my God, you got to have it all together. Like, I got to have everything in place. I got to have all the things. And it's like, no, you may not have all the things, but you're on the right path. And so I think it's really, journaling helps me a lot. Just journaling down, like, okay, here is the things that I've accomplished. Here are the things that I want to accomplish. But then also just celebrating myself. Like, it's so important to say, man, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm so thankful for where I am right now. And so I listened to this podcast, and they were saying, for everything that you want to accomplish, put a celebration behind it. So say, for instance, you're like, okay, I want to lose 10 pounds. Put a celebration behind it. Like, okay, once I lose this 10 pounds, this is how I'm going to celebrate. Or, okay, I really want to pay off my credit card debt. Once you pay off that credit card debt, put a celebration behind it. And I've been doing that, and it's so great. Like, okay, this is the things I want to accomplish. And when I do it, I get so excited and motivated to do it, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this once I do that. And so just really celebrating yourself throughout the process, just loving yourself throughout the process. I made so many mistakes throughout my 20s, and I'm probably going to keep on making mistakes. But one thing that I've learned is just learning from those mistakes and trying not to repeat the same cycles, which I definitely feel like I did when it comes to relationships. Absolutely have repeated the cycle and realizing, how am I in the same spiral? Well, you got to learn from it. And so that's just my advice to myself. Slow down. Take your time. I'm still in my 20s, but we're reaching 30. Slow down, continue to have faith, knowing things are going to get better, but it is you versus you. Focus on your path, focus on your journey, and you're going to be amazed at the things that you're going to experience. You're going to be amazed by the people that you meet. You're going to be amazed by the purpose that you have in your life. And so overall, that would just be my main thing for my 20s, but it gets better. Continue to evolve, continue to work on yourself, continue to have faith, continue to just trust the process. Honestly, trust the process. It all works out. And yeah, I just really can't wait to see how things are towards my end of my 20s, and to even say that I'm still alive and living. Like, this is such a blessing. Not everybody makes it to 27, 28 years old. And so I'm very thankful that I'm still here. I'm thankful that I still have the opportunity to learn. I still have the opportunity to evolve, and I have the opportunity to keep going. And so I can't wait to do another one of these videos at the end of my 20s, when I'm about to hit 30, and what I would even learn in these last, 2 years in my 20s. And so I'm just excited for what's to come. But if you are someone who is in your 20s, or maybe you're just hitting your 20s and you watch this video, this is some advice I would have for you if you are in your 20s, early 20s, about to hit the 20s, leaving the 20s, I don't know. But that is advice that I would give myself. And as always, I will continue to share my journey here on YouTube every Sunday. And if you are interested, you can subscribe to my channel. You can share this with anyone who may be interested in this type of content. And I'm just excited to continue to provide more content. And if you are someone who you have some ideas on videos that you would like for me to see, definitely leave them in the comments below. I would love to get more ideas on videos, but just wanted to give a little chit chat about what I learned in my 20s. So thank you all again. Thank you for those who subscribe.